Yes, guys, we are finally back. Finally posting a video. It's been far too long. As you all know, the Premier League is just around the corner. Only 4 more days to go until the Premier League starts. Friday night, Arsenal against Coventry. It's going to get tasty. And anything can happen, of course. That's why it's always exciting. Apart from when it comes to the relegation battle, but it should be really interesting what's going to happen in the Premier League this season. And I've made my 1 to 20 Premier League predictions. I'm going to start off from the bottom all the way to the top of the table. Yeah, in 20th position, I think most fans have got this, and I don't want to make this, but I predicted Hull City to come bottom of the table. Yeah, but their manager, Djukurovic, his name is, he might prove us wrong, because most Championship fans predicted them to get relegated last season, and their manager has done an incredible job. And I've had a look at their transfer news, and they've signed Matt Targett, but haven't signed much more Premier League quality players. And they're going to have to make a lot of transfer business if they're going to stay up, and I can't see that happening at the moment. I can't really see them compete in the Premier League, unfortunately. I think that's an easy choice, that predicting them to come bottom of the table. Yeah, 19th position. Some fans have got this, but I predicted for them to come 19th. Yeah, but like I've had a look at the players that they've lost, and I can't see them do well this season. I reckon they'll have a drop off. They've lost Harry Wilson, they've lost Diop with signs, they've also lost Saka Lukic. Yeah, but they're going to need to find replacements for those players as soon as possible. If they don't, I reckon they're really going to struggle this season, and I can see Fulham going down this season. Right, in 18th position, I've got Crystal Palace. Yeah, I'm also concerned about them. Of course, because of their manager, Oliver Glasner has gone, and they've been a team coming bottom half of the table, and they've still got some talent in their team. They've still got Mateta up front, and I think they've still got Sarr actually, but it's going to take quite a while for their new manager to get them going. And I reckon that will cost Crystal Palace. I reckon they'll be in the relegation battle, and I reckon they could go down the season. Yeah, in 17th position, a lot of Coventry fans will like this. I've got them to come 17th, and I've got them to stay up. I'm quite optimistic about Coventry City this season. I think Frank Lampard is an incredible manager. Ever since he's joined them, they've done brilliantly in the Championship. And there's a lot of their players that's really impressed. I think they've got Mason Clark in their team. They're definitely going to keep Haji Rice up front. Yeah, they might need to sign some more players, but I'm looking forward to seeing those players playing in the Premier League, and I reckon they've got a good chance of staying up. Yeah, I've got a really bold prediction up next. 16th, I put in Newcastle. Yeah, but a lot of fans are not going to like it, but I've just got quite a lot of worries for Newcastle at the moment. They've lost their manager, they've lost some of their best players. They've lost Bruno Guimaraes, who's gone to Arsenal. They've also lost Anthony Gordon. Thinking who else that they've lost. They've also lost Sandro Tonali, who's gone to Tottenham Hotspur, and he was a brilliant midfielder for them last year. But yeah, it's just all falling apart for Newcastle at the moment, unless their new manager can do something. I forgot what the manager's name was. He was a manager from the Saudi Pro League. Yeah, they've got to back their new manager, but currently it's not looking good for Newcastle at the moment, and I can see them in the relegation battle, unfortunately. Yeah, moving on to 15th position, and that's our club, Ipswich Town. Yeah, I've been really excited by our new manager, Gary O'Neill, his new tactics, and also our transfer business. I think we've spent 127 million, and that's exactly what he needs going into the Premier League. Sunderland did that last season and it paid off. Yeah, but we've signed Emerson. We've desperately needed a new striker. We've got Dyson, Maeda. We've got Diop from Fulham. We've got Sasa Lukic, and we've got Fataru from Leicester. Even though they got relegated, he was an outstanding player. Yeah, also we've got Florentino Louise from Burnley. Yeah, a lot of new players to look forward to. We might have well, we've done well in pre-season. We might have quite a difficult start to the season, but once those new players get together and we start to play well, I reckon we've got a really good chance of staying up in this league. I think we've got a much better chance of staying up than last season. We've learnt the lesson, because last season we signed players that are championship quality rather than proven players in the Premier League, which is certainly what we've done this season. We need some Premier League experience. I reckon we can stay up. Alright, in 14th position, I've gone with Sunderland. Yeah, a lot of fans are not going to like it, because Sunderland had an incredible season last time out and they've held on to Granit Xhaka, but I can't see them doing as well this season. Mainly because they've going to be playing in Europe. I'm just worried that they're going to put their priorities on Europe this season rather than the league. And I do think they've overperformed this season, but don't get me wrong, they've done incredibly well, and I do think they're going to stay up. They're definitely an established team in the Premier League now, but I can't see them having a season as good as last time. But I reckon they'll still have a decent season though. Right, in 13th position then I've gone with Nottingham Forest. And I reckon they've gotten slightly better actually. They've gotten a new manager. They've got Oliver Glasner from Crystal Palace. Yeah, but one of the reasons why I thought they really struggled last season, mainly because they got rid of Nuno when they secured European football, and that was absolutely stupid. That was like Sheffield United last season when they sacked Chris Wilder when they nearly got promoted. But Oliver Glasner has done a really good job with Crystal Palace, won 3 trophies with them, and I reckon he'll do a decent job with Nottingham Forest. But I reckon I can see them improve a little bit, but not that much. I'm going to see a slight improvement from them. I reckon they're going to come mid-table. I don't think they'll be in the relegation battle. Yeah, in 12th position, I've gone with Everton. Yeah, but I don't see them doing too good this season. But quite a lot of people would go with them to be in the relegation battle. But I saw that they've made a good signing, which is Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough. And he was an absolute cheat code for the Championship. And I reckon he'll do good in the Premier League as well. But I reckon it could be the same old story for Everton, unfortunately. I don't see them getting relegated, but I can't see them making Europe either. Yeah, in 11th position, I'm sorry about this. A lot of fans will go with Aston Villa to finish in Europe, but I've gone with them to be 11th. Yeah, so they're I'm quite worried about Aston Villa at the moment. They've lost one of their best players, Morgan Rogers. And I think they've also lost Matty Cash as well, and they've lost another player. Yeah, I reckon Aston Villa could have a bit of a slip this season, unfortunately. I think if they lose Ezri Konsa as well, that'll be a disaster for Aston Villa. And if that happens, I reckon they'll have an even bigger slip up. But I can only see Aston Villa finishing mid-table this year. Yeah, in 10th place, I've gone with Brentford. Yeah, they've really impressed me throughout 2 seasons ago. And plus they've got a really good striker now from Brazil, Igor Thiago. And I expect him to have another really good season for Brentford. But it's a shame that they haven't made Europe yet. But they've done really well in pre-season, and I can see them doing decent in the Premier League. But I don't think it's enough to finish in Europe. But I do expect them to finish top half of the table. Yeah, in ninth position, I put in Brighton. And I've had a look on BBC Sport, and they made a lot of new signings. They have, but I reckon they might have a bit of a difficult start to the season. It's usually the case when a team has made a lot of signings and they struggle at the start, and then the team starts to get together, and then they have a really strong end to the season. But Brighton have really showed some encouraging signs in the past few seasons that they can go on to make Europe. I don't think they'll make it this year, but I expect them to have another decent season. I reckon their signings will push them forward as well. But yeah, I reckon it'll be the same old story, a top half finish, but not quite Europe. Right, in eighth position, I put in Chelsea. Yeah, I don't get why fans are thinking that Chelsea are going to have a better season. I mean, they've still got a massive squad, but their signings haven't been too good. They've signed Jordan Henderson from Brentford, one of the most pointless signings, to be honest. He's already got past his prime and didn't even make it to the starting 11 for England in the World Cup. They've also signed Danny Welbeck from Brighton, which I don't really understand, to be honest, because they've already got 2 strikers. They've got João Pedro and Liam Delap. Yeah, I don't see them improving, unfortunately. I mean, they've got a really good team. They've got Cole Palmer and they've got Morgan Rogers, but I still don't see an improvement from them. I reckon they'll finish outside of Europe again. Yeah, a lot of fans are going to be surprised by this, but I've gone with Leeds to be 7th. Yeah, but I've had a look at their pre-season games. They've been really good. They've still got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Who else? I think they've still got Willie Gnonto in their team, who's a Premier League quality player. They've also got Anton Stash. Yeah, they've got a really good squad there, Leeds United, and they did well to stay up last season. And I can see them having a much better season in the Premier League this time out. But yeah, one team's going to have a really good season in the Premier League. Team's going to make a massive improvement, and I think I'm going to go with Leeds. Alright, in 6th position then. It's going to be quite surprising for a lot of fans this, but I put Bournemouth in 6th place. Yeah, I really like their squad. We've got Evan Nielsen up front, and they've got Tavernier as well. I've really liked him. They've got Adams, and they've got Scott in midfield. Yeah, they did great last season. They managed to make it to Europa League football, and I reckon it will be the same here. Yeah, but Bournemouth have been finishing top half of the table for a lot of seasons. I reckon Tavernier will have a good season. I reckon Evan Nielsen will score some goals, and they've got a really good midfield, so I can see them having a good future. Alright, in 5th position then I put Spurs. Yeah, there's going to be some fans that don't trust Tottenham Hotspur because they've been in 2 relegation battles and they finished 17th twice, but they've made some really promising signings. They've signed Sandro Tonali from Newcastle, and who else? They've signed Mateus Fernandes for 85 million for West Ham. But yeah, those are signings that they needed to make. I mean, they've got a really good team already, but they've needed to make some extra signings, otherwise they could have been in the relegation battle again. And they've also got their new manager, Roberto De Zerbi. That was one of the reasons why they stayed up last season, when it looked like they were going to be getting relegated, but I can see them making massive improvements. I can see them making to 5th. I can see them getting European football again. Right, in 4th position then I've gone with Man City. Yeah, I can see them having a bit of a drop off because of Pep Guardiola leaving their team. I think they've got Enzo Maresca as their manager, and he wasn't very good for Chelsea. But they've still got enough quality in their team. They've got Erling Haaland's going to bang in a bunch of goals for them. Yeah, but I saw that while their players have gone, but they've still got but their team is still way too good though. But yeah, there's still like a lot of other teams improving in the Premier League, and I don't think Man City will come second, but I think they'll still make Champions League football. Right, in 3rd position then I'll put in Liverpool. Yeah, I can see them having a improvement to last year. Arne Slot has left the club. They've made some ridiculous signings. They've got Alexander Isak, they've got Florian Wirtz. And they spent a record amount last season. I think they spent over 200 million. Yeah, those players didn't work out for Liverpool. But after they've Alexander Isak has returned from his injury, and I expect him to have a really good season for Liverpool this time round. And I expect Florian Wirtz to have a fantastic season. Yeah, but Liverpool were terrible last season. I mean, Arne Slot was really good in his first season at Liverpool, but he was terrible in his second season. I think they've now got Iriola in charge, who's had a really good spell with Bournemouth, and I reckon he'll do a really good job with Liverpool as well. Alright, in 2nd position then I put in Manchester United. Yeah, I can see Man United doing great this season. They got rid of Ruben Amorim in the middle of last season, and now they've got Michael Carrick. They've made 2 decent signings. They've signed Santos, and they've signed Tielemans from Aston Villa. Yeah, I can see them having a really good season for many reasons. They've still got Brian and Burmo. They've still got Cunha, and they've still got Sesko. And I've really liked their signings last year, and I reckon they can really click this season. And I do expect them to challenge Arsenal for the title. I reckon they'll make massive improvements. Alright, finally, in 1st place I've gone with Arsenal. Yeah, quite a boring prediction to be honest, what most fans have gone for, but I reckon Arsenal are levels above all the other Premier League teams. They've signed Bruno Guimaraes. They've got stacks of quality in their team. They've got Eberechi Eze. So they've got Bukayo Saka. They've got Declan Rice. And they've got Zubamendi. And they've got Saliba and Gabriel as the centre backs. Yeah. I reckon they'll be a powerhouse this time, and I can see them winning the title again. Unfortunately, I don't like Arsenal, but I reckon they've got the best team in the Premier League. That's my Premier League predictions. I went with some bold predictions there, but anything can happen in the Premier League, so don't give too much stick for these predictions. Yeah, but anything can still happen in the transfer window though. But of course, there's some teams that can really struggle, and there's some teams that can make improvements, but felt like I made some good predictions there. And to hope I get all of my predictions right come the end of the season. Yeah, guys, absolutely can't wait for the Premier League to get started again. It's going to be more interesting this time with new promoted teams going up. See you in the next one.